What do you want? I'm gonna kill you, you bastard!
Here's the jup. All you see is crooks. Shout out to Havoc, good looking on the beat. Forever P. Street life was good. About to go in, son. Look, red bones and red bottoms. Like Red Bull, we gon' give them wings, we red dot them. Candy rappers, send them in, we red hot them. Headshot them, go against migraine, get head problems. Big dummy, garbage rappers, we red fox them. Shoot an actor in high depth and red box them. Tip the scales in my favor, stay in your top 10. If life's like a triple beam, I'm weighing my options. Y'all like why meth, you high meth. Keep a big popper, cause I ain't ready to die yet. I digress, or I'm just too intense to digest. Stretched in a Pyrex, compliments to my chef. Game ain't been the same since I left. Is they really crooks or just a pain in my neck? Wu-Tang, ain't no lanes in my set. Fresh pair of Nike Airs, I just do it for my check. I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your bars up. Shout to P, you know it's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, date over, pull your drawers up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up.
I swoop in, shooting like I'm paratrooping. We all in, we riding, we carpooling. My whole crew, we diving, we platooning. Salute me or shoot me, Huey P. Newton. Your buffoonery is quite amusing. This is not monkey business, stop cooning. It's a method to my madness, I know what I'm doing. There's a
Shalom.
Hello.
Israel in the house.
What's up? What's up, you all? How you all been? Man, I haven't been on social media in a little while, man. Especially like doing a home type shows. Over here it's like being at home, man. I'd have been over on a couple little platforms here and there, but as far as I used to do this social media stuff every day. I haven't been out there like that in a while, man. And it feels good, man, to be back in front of the populace.
Trust me, I know the feeling. I've been off for a minute myself. You know what I mean? Kind of like put everything on the back burner because we done touched over almost every topic when it come down to this walk that there was. You know what I mean? And
Oh man,
what can you do?
the rabbit holes get deeper, man. When you get to the point to where you felt like you done covered everything, and I know the rabbit holes get deep. That means that you gotta advance your studies. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say for instance, like if you feel that you done mastered the scriptures, learn biblical history. The Bible and biblical history is two different things. Learn some Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? There's always something further that you can go inside of here.
Of course. It's just that, you know what? I don't like to see the people going backwards. That's the problem. After
Yeah.
the things that we done, spoke on, taught on, and things like that, it's like they listen, they hear, then like soon as you say you take a break or whatever, they come right back with the same old, sorry sadness going on and over on spewing out the same old mess. You know what I mean? So I said I was gonna sit it down for a little while and observe and see what's going on. That's what I see. You know what I mean?
For myself, I'm seeing the same old stuff. And I'm not seeing no big progress in the house of Israel. And in fact, I'm seeing a great digression. We're seeing leaders, stepping down. We're seeing leaders, a lot of sexual deviancy going on in the house of Israel. The house of Israel need to do a study on the book of Hosea. They really need to do a study on that, man. If we did a real good study on that, we would see a reflection of the house of Israel today.
See, big Eric, mad scientist in the house. He's coming on in a few. That's cool. That's
All
cool.
right.
Like tonight, like where you see the topic, it's like unrestricted talks, anything. So it's not like we're gonna hold anybody to anything. Like it's to be limitless, basically. Anybody want to come on, hop on, say a few things pertain to whatever they want to say. I'm gonna give them what you call the carte blanche. Unless they, you know, come in here with something harsh that I have to step in. That's other than that, I'm gonna let them have a free ride. You know what I mean?
Dig it.
Because I've been seeing things or watching on Judas channel, Lions Den. I don't too much watch none of that Sonata stuff. Because a lot of them, they kind of enemy to the walk. To be honest with you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a
But it
lot of
is what
people, a
it
lot of
is.
Israelites don't. He was on his show today talking about, there was Israelites on the panel, and they were talking about how, how the Israelites that go on his channel, how they get attacked for going over there. And I get attacked for going over there. Most people respect me, but Judah Naz, called himself, about a month ago or so, he called himself trying to throw shade on me because he sees me on another channel. But the crazy part about that is that's all jealousy and envy and hatred. He's mad when he see you up there because he wished that he was up there. You know,
Uh,
and
See, I
it's
don't even
really,
know the relationship between Nats and Sonetta and all those guys. I know I've been seeing like some beef going on. But
but they
other than
friends now
like
again. So another and Judah Nash and patched it up. I think was it last week, and they was all on each other's shows and everything. So that's why you can't get involved. Like Sanetta told me years ago, man. Man, why is you fighting for JJ and these guys like that, man? He was like, I don't. That's silly for you to do that because next week me and JJ liable to be friends, and because me and you beefing because you got in it, me and you might not be friends. Now you can just
strictly beef.
inherit. Yeah, you just got into a beef that was just pointless. You just inherit an enemy for no fucking reason. Because the nigga who you protected, me and this nigga back cool again.
Yeah, see that too. I see that too. I mean, it's all good. To, people, come on these like social media things or even like the YouTubes and all that and express stuff. People of color, we gotta do better with ourselves anyway. You know what I mean? But other than that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? All these like call it wars over somebody's personal. You know what I mean? I'm not really with that. You know what I mean? We deal with Hebrew thought, we deal with, how you say IBri thought and stuff like that. So we have to understand that a lot of those cats out there do not have an understanding of that. So they have their little ways, what they go if they be atheists or whatever their religious beliefs are or faith. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be like
Yeah.
little, beefs here and there, but it don't need to be no wars going on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Ah,
I've been checking out like I seen like going on. It's what do you call it? Aunt West, Ink West. What is that? He's like one of the I
yes.
guess
What I guess
psychologists
what that's
type of guys.
well he's Uncle Wes is this he got this group called the pseudo killers and the eighth and God killers and he's really this pseudo scientist. You know what I'm saying? And really he's not even really truthfully even about science like that. You know what I'm saying? He just has used science as a ploy to fight against the believers.
Uh,
So
I
he said
but
some, he said some things about divine prospect that I didn't like. You know, divine prospect to me, is a good guy. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by a good guy, he's not. You don't hear about him getting caught up in a whole bunch of bull crap. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that he really believes what he believes. He's a pretty humble guy, man. You know what I'm saying?
that's the key. If he's humble, then you gotta let him. you know, do his thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Without
but he got something to say about this brother because this brother is, trying to solicit prayer. I guess if that's what he's doing, he trying to teach the people how to
I
pray.
mean,
But
what's wrong with that?
I
What's
guess
wrong with
he,
that?
I guess he's found. He's saying that divine prospect is profiting off of it.
Sound like some
And
jealousy type of thing
and
to me.
then yeah, and then he says that these prayers and this culture, has nothing to do with black people. So
Oh,
basically,
really?
yeah,
Really?
that type of thing. You know, and I
I
have
wonder
a
what
problem
world is
with
this
that.
guy coming from?
I mean, I just have a problem with that when you have all of this sexual deviancy. The other young lady, a brother sent me a video. And there's a young lady, she's married to a guy they call E37. Maharaka. You know Maharaka?
Sound familiar. Sound familiar.
Yeah. Maharaka is one of those camp guys. He
Mhm.
he married a lady that was in the Israelite tradition, I guess, or I ain't gonna say culture. She was in the Israelite cult.
I like the way you said that. It's just like cult,
Yeah,
not culture, but cult.
yeah, she wasn't in the Israelite culture. You got the Israelite culture, and then you just got the Israelite cult. You know what I'm saying? And she was in the Israelite cult, and she shot and killed her husband. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? And it made nationwide news, and all of the Israelites are supporting this lady. She's in jail making rap records and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and Israel is supporting this woman who killed her husband, and Maharaka turned around and married her. So I'm saying that Uncle West knows Maharaka. He ain't got nothing to say about that. That's horrible, man. What about all of the things that came out against Tazariak? He never said nothing about that.
oh,
What about
since you said that, since you said to Zaria, we go hit on a little bit of that too. We go talk about her. But go ahead.
yeah, man? Him, Gorilla Hebrew. What just happened with him? The homosexuality and all of that crazy stuff. You ain't
That's
got
real.
nothing to say about those very wicked men, but you sit up on Sarnella's panel with these guys, hobnob with these guys, but you got something very damaging to say about Divine Prospect, man. And I didn't like that. I just thought that was bias, and I thought it was evil. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't like it.
Maybe he's trying to, I guess, shut him down for whatever reason. Anything
Yeah,
to what
hatred. It's hatred. Look up the
to move
definition of
us
hatred,
forward.
man.
Yeah, yeah, it's a hater.
Yeah. When you look up the definition of hatred in a dictionary, you'll find that hate is all around you. See, when we think of hate, we think of this just extreme dislike. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'll talk about the most extreme dislike, but really, it's just an extreme dislike for something.
They have like this distastefulness, it's jealousy, envious, and all kind of things going on. I mean,
Yeah.
know the guy, to be honest with you, I'm talking about the Unc West guy, or you call him Unc West, or whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
him to broaden out. So, me looking in at, seeing this type of beef going on, I'm like, what the hell is the major topic? But then you say it's like
Yeah.
that,
Then you got
and
Tazariak over there talking about stuff about child support, and if your woman puts you on child support, do some old type ignorant, goofy stuff. And it was just really like bad, illegal type stuff to do. You know, Uncle West ain't said nothing about that. Pretty much like some kind of way to scam the. I remember hearing him say that if his woman put him on child support, he was gonna tell her to lie and say that that wasn't his baby or some old crazy crap like that. Yeah, that way that he don't have to pay the child support.
Wow.
Or he said that he would take the money for the child support, pay the child support, and he'll move on with his life. He'll never talk to the kid. He'll never call the kid.
Wow.
That's crazy, man. That's these are your Israelite leaders, and this is what I'm saying. Where I'm seeing the Israelite organization, man, just it's horrible, man. It's horrible today.
Hmm. You're right on that.
All the old heads done passed away. So you got a bunch of new guys out here leading us into the wrong direction.
Because a lot of become more of a trend. I think of it looks good for that title to be on them, on that their paperwork, or whatever they to impress with, and in actuality, they don't really have the foundation of what I'm saying of what they're supposed to represent. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know what type of paperwork they have because when they become those generals and captains and all of that, they don't have no paperwork for that.
Yeah, that to me, that's open extreme. A lot of it, general, you know what I'm saying? But that's like
Yeah.
and you calling them camps though. Anyway, me and how the camps we don't got no connection with one another. You know what I'm saying? But
People
we
don't
stay on.
realize that all of this mess that is coming in up out of the house of Israel is emanating up out of those camps and they knock in those different knockoff groups. IUIC,
Mhm.
GMS, GOCC, ISUPK, AOC, all that type of stuff. House of David, yeah,
AOC.
all those, all those alphabet boys.
I like that alphabet. You remind me of Brother Allen. He used to call
Hold on for a minute,
it
man.
ABC groups, ABC camps.
Hold on for 1 second. Somebody knocking at my door. Go ahead and
Okay.
go ahead and hold the show down for a second.
All right. Me looking at a couple of things. I was like watching in on Judah's channel. He had a bunch of what you call a preterists, full preterists. I don't forgot their names, whatever. They're supposed to be debating time, I guess, either on the lines, then debating a couple of guys. And I was looking at that, you know what I mean? Like, is coming up with different ways to approach the people with the same push. You know what I mean? Same push. Brother Eric, you ready? You can hit the link more. We just having a little simple talk tonight, nothing serious. We
Oh
talk
yeah,
about some
so
topics.
I'm back.
Hmm.
And so when I look at the state of the house of Israel today, blood, it's a bad do, man. Very bad do. It's a quite embarrassing situation to be in, and and it's one of the reasons why y'all haven't seen me on social media much. I think I kind of talked about that the last time I came over here. I just don't want to be associated with some of these people, man.
Hmm. I don't blame
These people are horrible. Then you got like when you go inside another show, all them Israelites over there, them be the dumbest, and they all Christians.
you. Well, how
Yeah,
substantial Christianity is. They're everywhere. You know what I
they
mean?
over there. They was over there inside another show today talking about how Lucifer was an angel and
Oh my
how he
God.
fell from heaven. Man, that stuff ain't in no Bible, man. Where you getting this
One
from?
West, one West push.
Hmm.
I don't even want to call it one West push because I don't believe that
One
the
big
original one
mess.
West push that. It's camp push. Separate the camps. Was
That's
it
the one.
125th, one West, 125th Street?
Yeah, the one mess cap.
Yeah, the one Mexican.
Oh, that chart is so foul. Oh my God. I mean, they all foul. Everything about them guys is just foul, man. And they have led the Israelite movement You know, there. I mean, yeah, I just don't. A lot of these guys, man, I just don't want nothing to do with them. They have taken this movement and moved it in another direction, and the direction that the Israelite movement is going in, I'm not
Mhm.
going. I'm not going in the direction with it.
Yeah, they going backwards.
Yeah,
Definitely backwards.
yeah. They
Uh,
first they going sideways and then backwards.
to the Michael Jackson fit.
Yeah, all the way out the way. Every way except the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, I was talking about the last time I was working at on Judah's channel. He had a bunch of called a full preterist, but they said like they was everybody's tailoring to them. I think who was the debate for? It was one of the guys. I think Ryan was going against Zion Lex or whatever. You know what I mean? I looked at that. I was like, oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that because, you know, well, what I don't like about it is how Ryan gets to come on here and tell me or any Israelite for that matter, you're a so-called Israelite or you're a
Mhm.
self-proclaimed Israelite. You know what I'm
The
saying?
mad scientist
You,
in the house. What's going on, Eric?
yeah, and I kind of don't. I kind of don't really like that because when you really look at Ryan's argument, Ryan, you want to talk about what black identity is and what black identity is not, right? But let us two can play that game. We need to talk about your identity and your spiritual identity. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that. And you're quick to tell people you're a Christian, right? But I
Mhm.
beg to differ. You're different. You're a specific type of Christian. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason why you feel the need to come over here and tell black people who they is and what they're not. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You are a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian, which is called WASP. Have you ever heard of WASP?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
WASP
did.
is the original Christian foundation of the United States of America, and and its job as a Christian is to give everybody the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant Christian worldview.
That is correct. When
I'm
you
not
said it,
white.
that's best
I'm
said.
not Anglo. I'm not Saxon, and I'm damn sure not a Protestant.
Mhm.
And they are a dominance organization group. I'm saying that any other form of Christianity, they're not adhering to it. They're not
Mhm.
tolerant of it. It has to be white, Anglo Saxon Protestant. And this is the reason why this man has a problem with black people. It's white dominance. These people have used Christianity as a tool to a weaponizing tool. You know what I'm saying? Against other races and other peoples. To establish your WASP, your white supremacy, your white Anglo-Saxon Protestant supremacy.
Mhm.
You think that your views, your interpretation, and all of that of the scripture trumps everybody else, and that's silly, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they are, though. I used to go against them back in the days and actually strip them apart and tear them down because what I mean. They're good against those that's like I guess don't know no better, but when it come against like guys that really know the book, and knows how the book was suppressed and and what you call twisted and all of that. 'Cause, stay
Check
people
this,
thought anyway. You
check
know what I
this
mean?
out. About 2 weeks ago, JJ asked me would I debate Cesaria. I said, "Oh, quite certainly." I said the only reason why I haven't debated him prior is because y'all cats been protecting that man, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But so he calls Tazariot and asks Tazariot, will he debate me? The next day, Tazariot go make some video talk about how he would never debate an Old Testament Israelite because we
Yeah,
have no
I've
point.
seen that. Him saying that.
Because we have no
Like,
point. He was talking about
you know
me.
what? You know what, Yasha? You know what? I'm fine to see that in a lot of ways. This is the way they avoid themselves getting embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Oh
They
yeah,
just simply
I'm because I'm
they simply
embarrassed
won't
with
come
two
on.
out of them.
Yeah, yeah, they simply won't come on and take on because you came up from the golden ways. Like I came from the golden ways. We'll go hit them hard with the book actually says. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't like that because they don't want us to like dissect their book. You know what I mean? Because like I always say, there's a difference
Yeah, because
between
if
the
I
Hebrew
dissect your
heritage
book, I'm gonna make that book
and
sound
then the
fake and
Latin
phony.
or Roman crap.
I'm gonna show you the ridiculousness in that New Testament, and it's a
That's what they
lot of
problem.
ridicule. There's a lot of ridicule there.
Yeah, that's what their problem is. They try to avoid the fact that like guys like us, we will cut them down so badly and embarrass them with their doctrine. You know what I mean? Because we keep it all
Yeah,
Hebrew thought, and then they can't get around that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know what I mean? It would no matter what they do, because the way the book is
Well,
structured,
they be
you got
trying to
to
get
ride
around the Hebrew thought. You know what I'm saying? People been trying to get around it. And this is one of the reasons why I promote, the studying of the language so we can ascertain that Hebrew thought because that's the biggest lacking in people that read that Bible. They don't acquire the Hebrew thought. They require a Roman Greco thought or a Christian thought. It's not an
it.
Israelite thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I always call those that follow any of the outside of the Hebrew, what you call Hebrew heritage. I call them all Greeks, to be honest with you, because the New Testament is Greek. No matter how you look at that, it's Greek, 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 Greek. It translated over to Rome, but guess what? That's not Hebrew. What else
It's
out there?
not Hebrew.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Anything the New Testament is talking about, I mean, it doesn't even match up, but fools,
Yeah.
they tend to think it does. And that's what the downfall is, and that's why they avoid.
I don't even mess with it.
I see, like say, like on like Judah, he supports like it, I guess thinks that you need them, as your views or whatever. But I don't really
Judah want
care
to be
less.
seen, man. Judah think that he's making a legacy when he's really making a fool out of himself. He was on there the other day crying and carrying on, talking about how his father used to abuse him, man. See, to me, man, that's crazy, man. You don't put all your personal business on social media like that.
Nah.
Yeah, he doesn't care what the people use his information against him. He just crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? I got love for Judah Nash, man, but Judah Nash speak him as Tazariak and a couple other brothers call themselves Israelites, man. They speak presumptuously to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't know the boundary, where the boundary ends and begins between good and evil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I seen Eric was on. I guess his mic was messed up. Something like that.
Yeah, I think the morning I was going to dress him, and I looked back over there, he popped off.
Yeah. No, like I said, just I haven't been on in a while. You haven't been on in a while. Just do what we can come up with. If anybody else, want to join in, they can join in too. Ain't nothing serious tonight, but
What
yeah.
time is it?
It is 11:19. Now about well, you in Detroit, so same time. Yeah, the same time.
Yeah, I ain't gonna stay on real long.
Nah, I ain't gonna say how
I'm
long
a,
either.
Yeah, I have a movie
Yeah,
tomorrow that I'm acting
yeah.
in.
Tell me what's going on with that.
Yeah, they got me playing, man. These heathen ass roles, man. Excuse my English, but I mean, that's what happened when you get to Hollywood. They not gonna let me play or portray a Jesus or Moses or anything like that. There's always some old heathen gangster shit or something.
Oh, still good. You be on the what they call it, silver screen. That's good.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, I got movies now that's on Tubi. We take them and we put them on Tubi. I'm in about 5 movies on Tubi.
Okay. That's my call it streaming channel. I love things on Tubi, especially from our peoples anyway. You know. I mean, people
Yeah.
say, well, those movies is like second and third class. I said, not really. You got to remember, you you want to see something that you haven't seen before, or something. You know what I'm saying? What our people do, you go on Tubi. So I ain't gonna knock it. A lot of talent that we have anyway. But it's good to hear that you're doing that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, you used to be in the music industry too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that,
So
that's
your
how I
thing.
end up. That's how I end up getting into the acting. I end up going from the gospel music, and then I end up becoming a rapper and start producing rap records and stuff. And then I would guess around 2010, I recorded my last rap record. And at that point, rap was getting ready to go off into this drill music. And at that point, I decided that I no longer wanted to be a rapper. So I stopped doing it.
Mhm. Yeah. Trying to see. I'm trying to think. What else was the topic there was on? I seen a debate on Lions Den a couple of weeks back too. Was that the most and ancient of days supposed to be not the same? And the one guy saying that the two separate entities and all that. I'm like, what book is this guy reading? You know what I mean? What book is he reading? You know what I mean? It did not be the same. But it's through the scriptures that tell you clear. They're looking for word things that distinctly say these things, but they don't understand the different timelines and different, what I'm saying, time frames where Israel was the different captivities that sometimes they say things differently. You know what I mean? Different
Yeah,
eras. But it was an interesting
yeah,
debate, though. I mean, in the end, it wasn't really like a judge debate. I think on the lines, and I guess it was ended. It was as if it's like giving both sides an equal status on it. Some scholars
mm,
say this and some scholars say that. Well, that is the problem. When you're going with
yeah,
certain scholars, you got to remember scholars are human. Scholars are man, and they're gonna have error. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of opinion. Just because it's an
yeah.
ancient opinion doesn't mean it's supposed to what you call trump somebody's
Well,
modern thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
when you're dealing with like historians and stuff like that, you got and doctors and stuff like that. You know, you have like what's called a code of ethics. You know what I'm saying? And in this code of ethics, you are not supposed to use knowledge for evil intentions. You know what I'm saying? You suppose so. A real historian is supposed to tell the truth about his
Correct.
research. He's not
Hmm.
supposed to be in here lying and making up all this bull crap and all of that. He's supposed to tell the truth about his research. He's supposed to tell honesty about what he's researched. He's not supposed to be trying to manipulate the game.
Right. Someone says, is this a Hebrew Israelite channel? Yes, indeed. Basically, we don't call ourselves like Hebrew Israelites, for that
I
reason of
I identify as
things.
a
But yes,
black
this is a
I identify as a black Jew.
Yes,
Yahuda.
brother PT. Yes, this is considered a Hebrew Israelite channel. Would be, but it's open for anybody to tell you the truth. If they
Yeah.
bringing some truth in about it, I love to hear it. You know what I mean? So I don't
Remember?
close
Do you
out
remember?
anybody.
Do you remember earlier when I was saying how I my goal was to separate myself from these people? In doing that, I no longer identify as this. Really, truthfully, I never identified as what you call a Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? I've always identified as a black Jew. You know what I'm saying? Always. I've always identified with that. Even in my research, Dr. Ben, and Rudolph Windsor were very instrumental, in me identifying as a black Jew. I no longer wanted to be identified as this Hebrew Israelite because when I first came into the movement, what I'm saying, you know, you know, I just didn't want to identify, man, with these Hebrew Israelites because of what they've done to the name. When we
Yes.
were coming up 20, 30, 40 years ago, you know, the is the he they the movement people referred to themselves, our people referred to themselves as Hebrew Israelites, but we really knew that we were Judah, right? We knew that we were of the tribe of Judah. We referred to
Yeah.
ourselves as
Right.
Jews, but we stopped doing that because we didn't want to be identified with the Europeans. So Hebrew Israelite became this blanket statement for all black people who believes in some form of Jewishness. You know what I'm saying? So over the years, you had guys like the ISUPK and Nate 7000, people saying things like, if you not down with what we into, then you're not in the truth. You know, uh, so because of the wickedness and making statements like that, I am not down with you, right? And if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite and that's what a Hebrew Israelite is, then I don't want to be one. You understand what I'm saying? And I told the people, man, I said on Sinetta Show that I identify with being a black Jew, Judah, the tribe of Judah. That's what I identify as. I speak the same
That
Hebrew
makes sense.
language of
You
the
feel like
Tanakh.
that. That's the truth of it. We should
Uh,
identify ourselves Judah. Judah.
well,
Yeah,
it's
with you.
Judah and Jude to me.
I
And
know.
as
I
far as
understand
the
what you.
Yeah, and as far as the language goes, it's the same thing. You know, being that, I don't like a person forcing me to say a Hebrew word when this person can't even speak a Hebrew, don't speak the Hebrew language like that. You speak English, you understand English. You should have no problem with understanding Jew and Judah is the same thing. I what I'm saying is I would rather identify with white Judaism than to identify with this cultish Hebrew
Yeah.
Israelite stuff.
Yeah. I can't stand the cult side of these
Yeah.
camps, especially camps. Brother
I
Bakar.
agree,
Shalom. Shalom, brother
you know,
Bakar.
like being an Old Testament Israelite, quite naturally I would agree more with Rabbi Singer than I would with General Yohana.
To
What
me,
about
like
you?
the general Johanna is more like it's like what they bakes behind it. Christians, okay, folk
Yeah.
faking Christians. To be honest with
Yeah.
you.
I don't follow Rabbi Singer, right? Or any European Jew. But I'll watch them and I'll give them a benefit of the doubt and listen to them. And in doing such, I have found more in line with me and them than I did with the Israelite cults. Because, like you say, they Christian.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And I have no problem with Christianity as far as that goes. But you faking the funk, utilizing the Hebrew, I guess, name tag, but yet you're under some type of disguise. and you're a Christian, I have a problem with
Yeah,
that. That's what I have a problem.
you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite under under the veneer of a Judeo-Christian cult. It's not a straight Christian cult. It's like a Judeo-Christian cult with a lot of Jewish elements in it. Nevertheless, it is a cult.
I have a
So
lot of
that
them.
takes us
They've been
back to the Israelite. That takes us back to the Israelite culture and its counterpart, the Israelite cult.
hmm separate the two.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna separate that too, and I'm gonna follow the culture, and they're gonna follow the cults.
hmm Yeah, I think Picard saying my mic is low. For some reason, I believe him because for some reason I got this new headset and it doesn't show up that much, but you can hear it.
So tell me out there in radio or TV and YouTube land, are you brothers enjoying the podcast tonight? Are you enjoying the dialogue? I want to put on the chat, see if I can read what the chat's saying.
There's only a few out there tonight for some reason, because we haven't been on in a while.
But we
So
got Eric Mad Scientist PT, and we got Emerson World in the house. You know, Emerson was he'll tell you I haven't been on YouTube like that. What I have been doing though, I've been making little videos and stuff, doing a little editing and that type of thing. But as far as
yeah.
going live and streaming, I haven't been doing that in a long time.
On the average, a lot of these things have slowed down everywhere. To be honest with you, I mean, you still have like a little bit of Lions Den here or there, Judah Nass, of course, but it's like here or there. It ain't really like how it used to be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it can't. The Lions Den had me. It had all of the Genesis 49ers guys. It had Yah. It had uh guys that just broke off and started doing their own thing now. You know. And most of the time the breakups have come by way of them falling out with Jay-Z. So a lot of these
Yeah,
groups is not
JJ can
coming
be
back.
rough sometimes with those guys.
Yeah. I
Not for
mean,
me, but can be rough.
JJ the group, man, had inspired so much. You know, a lot of these guys I wouldn't be doing it. Yeah, if I wouldn't have met JJ, I wouldn't have been making no damn videos, not to the magnitude that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? These days,
He changed up a little bit. I noticed that he's kind of like going a different route. He's changed his name to
JJ don't no longer, he no longer openly claim to be an Israelite.
wow. I think I
And
heard it from somebody else.
he said he credits me for that. I don't understand how you credit me for that because I believe that I'm an Israelite. I just don't believe in 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 everybody's God. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, no. Blame me on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Brother
yeah.
Bakar, if you want to hop on, you can hop on. I mean, we're only going to stay on a little while longer. Like I said, it wasn't such a big needed show or anything. We just wanted to touch base with, the channel we haven't been on in a while.
Yeah, Emerson, to tell you, I haven't been on there in a while, man. Emerson was probably one of my more faithful viewers, so Emerson could tell you I haven't been on Facebook live streaming in probably damn near 6 months.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, I think
A
I
long
might have went on there and did a video or two or something in between that, but for the most part, I haven't been active, man, since like the latter part of last year.
You know,
And
I
I
don't,
think about it. You
we
got,
did
and,
the same thing.
and I feel like sometimes it's a waste of energy, time. I'm 53 years old, man. I've been in this stuff, man, since I was in my early 20s. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the scriptures all my life. You know what I'm saying? And I could advance quicker in Christianity than I could inside of this hate-filled hate group called Hebrew Israelites. This group is so filled with hate that they have blocked me and stunted my growth.
What
You
do
know what I'm
you
saying?
think of? What do you think of this? Because this is, I was supposed to let a brother man on. He keeps pushing this. America is the promised land doctrine. What do you think of that? I mean, me, I don't pretty much think of too
I
much of
got
it,
I
but
got a you I got a good one. I got a good one for you. You wanna know what I think for real though? I got a real
good.
good answer for you. You ready?
Yeah,
You
sure.
ready?
Good.
You ready? Close your eyes. Now what do you see?
I
That's what
like
I
that.
think about them.
Hmm.
Close your
Yeah.
eyes. Now, what do you see? That's exactly what I think of those guys.
Yeah. Nah, but
I
I
think,
really
I
wanted
think,
to
I think,
hear one of them come on tonight and give me a little more deeper details of how they can come up with the conclusion. Because you know where
yeah,
I come from,
I think
historically,
America
it,
is the land of Arar, right?
mm,
It is the land of our curse. It is the
yes,
land
indeed,
of our captivity.
it might have been a promised land for the Europeans, but it ain't a promised land for us.
Yeah, but who promised it to the Europeans? They stole it.
They stole it, right? They stole it, right? They stole. I
Yes.
ain't gonna go into it more unless it's like one of the brother man's Kabor here speak on that, which I highly doubt that he would be able to sustain that.
Yeah, my concepts, I have to fall off these guys because, like I said, I'm leaning more towards the Hebrew thought. It's like these guys today they're following things like they're too busy trying to prove to the world that they Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And trying to prove to the world that they the
They
real
can't
children
prove
of
it.
Israel. Yeah, but when you really put them guys up under scrutiny, they can't really prove that. Like you said, they can't even prove it. And that's bad. That's just horrible. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
shameful,
Yeah,
really. They can't prove something that's easy. You know what I'm saying? That's right up in front of them. You know, they got to go
and
dancing around and do all kind of hoops
yeah,
and everything,
yeah. They can't
creatively
prove
come
that
up with other solutions for it.
yeah, they just can't prove it. It's just horrible, man. The whole makeup is just bad.
Hmm.
I don't have nothing good to say about it. I for years I've been embarrassed. Because see, I was an Israelite when it wasn't cool, when it wasn't heard of. Then you got these guys come on the scene and they be like, you know what? That's what Yasha was talking about 10, 20, 30 years ago. No, it wasn't. I was never talking about nothing like what these guys talking about.
I suppose Brother PT is saying they always have a microphone and don't let you talk. Yeah, you talking about those? I call them the street campers. Yeah, they like that. They like the
Yeah, they
narrative, so
over talk you.
don't say much, but
Yeah. Talking loud
mm,
and saying nothing.
mhm,
Bunch of fallacy arguments.
yep, exactly.
Arguments that carry no weight.
Well,
Yeah, man.
feel like this. Each their own. Yeah, I used to see them out there. Really ain't
See,
mean
but
nothing.
one of the problems why they teaching this we Israelite stuff, what they doing that, but they doing it under the veneer of hate.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's just bad, man. I mean, I just can't
You think
even.
their so-called general? I'm not gonna say his name, but their so-called general is the out there the one like send them out there to do that, or this is just like
Yeah,
I guess
he
marketing
sent them out there to
tactic.
do just what they do. They be all out in the fields doing trainings and all kind of crap.
Hmm.
I hear they be out there trying. They out there be teaching them martial arts. They used to do it because they used to tell us lie that on the year 2000 that they was going to, they was going to put
You
in
know,
that work.
you know what's funny? And even the other group, that I we call IUIC, whatever, they're a Christian-based group too. I see, what's that? Last year, the year before last, where the ISUPK they got their asses shut the hell down.
Oh,
They ain't
they
talking
got
about
beat up
martial
by
arts.
IUIC.
Yeah, it's about martial
Yeah, but
arts.
that then a couple. Did you see that a couple weeks later? One of them guys got shot.
Yeah.
See, but and I'll put my icing on the cake with this identity thing. It's bad when you push this black identity, but when somebody really, really challenge you on it, you can't prove it. So my thing is that to be a Jew, to be an Israelite, you should be more so a part of the culture than
Right.
some type of identity. The culture is what's important.
Culture and heritage.
Yeah, the laws, the statutes, the commandments, the scriptures, those things are the most important. The best, more accurate understandings of these scriptures, that's more important to me than you sitting up here claiming to be an Israelite. You being an Israelite don't mean shit to me.
They don't. They don't.
It don't mean nothing to this world. So what, you an Israelite? So fucking what? They still shooting, killing you. Half your people strung out on drugs and sexual deviancy and bad food.
Mhm. Bad food, especially bad food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like this. I'm gonna hold this down for a little bit longer. See what happens. Anybody else want to come on? I don't want to hold you too long. You did good.
Oh yeah, I done fell asleep about 2 or 3 times.
I know, me too. But it ain't because we're bored or boring. It's just that you know what we did too
Brother,
much
I have actually
the
fell
extra time.
asleep talk. I fell asleep talking, brother,
Mm,
in mid speech. And you can tell because I would lose my thought. I would lose my train of thought because I'm dozing off.
mm. But you gotta remember we doing on the like actually a free for all thing anyways. We didn't plan anything. We didn't really, like have any layout thing. It was like looking open session. So I get
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna go ahead on and get ready to get on out of here.
I don't know.
That's what I'm gonna do because I am really getting sleepy. And I swear, if I stay on here too much longer, you gonna get Yasha. I used to have this reputation of going live and falling asleep.
Done it. I've done it
We did a
too.
debate in the Lions Den one time, man. I'm trying to think who that was that was debate. It might have been a new Kakarak, and I think it was him versus Lex, I think. And I fell asleep during the debate. So we had 3 judges. The 2 other judges gave their judgment, right? When they called Yasha Ben Israel, all they heard was but man, I was working at that factory there, man. Auto factory, man. That place was working me 10, 12 hours a day, man. Shoot, I used to be tired.
How is it? I know you from the industry. How's it over there now since it's all gone? Pretty.
I really couldn't tell you because I'm not in the workforce like that. I'm not working like that. I do home health care work now. So because of my mother's situation, that's how I make the majority of my money. I got other little hustles and things that I do. So it's pretty much like I'm I'm an entrepreneur in a sense. I
You're not
pretty
out
much
there.
like
You're
work
not
for
out there
self.
still riding that electric, whatever that mini scooter now. I've been hearing a lot of
I saw,
accidents.
I saw, I sold that thing. Yep, I
I
sold
mean,
that electric scooter. I'm
yeah,
about.
I know. I mean, a lot of
I
people
sold it.
end up in
I sold it
comas with that.
last. I sold it last Friday to be exact.
Oh man, good thing.
See,
Yeah, a lot.
I bought it because my car. I had this black BMW, and I used to live like this very expensive type lifestyle, man. Before my mother got sick, working in that factory, you used to make pretty good money. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, my car broke down. Then, me having to take care of my mother, I didn't have an income at all at that time. And by me owning the BMW, those cars expensive, man. I just could never come up with the money to put that thing into a shop and get it fixed.
Yeah,
So
so it's weighing on your pockets.
I ended up buying a scooter, man, this little electric scooter, so I could just get around places and stuff. But shit, I got a car. Went and bought me another car. When I bought me another car, man, I just went on and sold that scooter to one of my relatives and gave it to one of their kids.
Yeah, it's mainly, to tell you the truth, it's best. Their bodies is better for that. 'Cause I was old that ride that thing is
Yeah,
dangerous.
I mean, it's healthy for you to ride a bike and all of that, but I
You know, a
mean,
regular bike is good. Yeah,
yeah. Even the electric scooter is good. A motor scooter is good because you still got to use your feet. You still got to hold this bike up. You know what I'm saying? You still got to use muscles to turn and up against the wind and all that kind of stuff. So, you I mean, they super fun too, man. You outside, you in the wind. You speeding like crazy. We know guys like speed.
that's the problem. They hit a little pothole. That's the game over for them.
Man, I done fell off that bike about 5, 6 times, man. And I'm talking about really, really, really hurt myself. I thought I broke my finger on that bike. I done sprung my damn near broke my wrist, busted my knees all up. Yeah, man. See, when you on those little bikes, man, like I said, I bought it, man, because I wasn't driving, and by me taking care of mom, I needed to get to the market. And, there's places I need to go, man. In Detroit, man, it's kind of hard to survive without transportation.
Yeah,
So I went. I couldn't afford another car at the time, so I went and bought that motorbike. I bought a car. I bought a car back in back in March. So I had no intentions on riding that bike no more. Once I bought me a car, there was no need for the bike. So I think I sold that bike for a couple $100. Just get rid of it. My house too junky. It's holding up space. I live in an apartment, small apartment. So just I went on and got, and I needed the money. So I went on and got it. I went and bought me a bubble, one of those, a 96 Caprice Classic.
wow, that ain't no bubble. That's nice. You talking about?
Yeah, that's what we call it. We call the one that came before that. We call it the box because it was box shaped. And then the ones that came after 96, we call them the bubbles.
More rounded, I
Yeah,
guess.
because it was like rounded. But those people in the streets have turned them cars into gangster cars or ghetto
Gangster.
cars. I wouldn't say like pimp my ride cars. You know what I'm saying? When you see them cars in Detroit, them guys be sitting on 22s. They be having TVs in there, big expensive radios, all these and that. They turn them cars into luxury cars up here.
What's the weather like there now?
The weather here, it is in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
You know, at night it'll drop down probably to the 50s or 40s. It get kind of cold at night up here still. It still has that a little cold in the air. I
Mm-hmm.
think we only had maybe three good hot days. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
the major one just was the day before yesterday, and 100 and some degrees.
Wow.
Temperature back to the rain though. The rain cooled things
Yeah,
off
it's
quick.
still kind of it still got that cold mist though. Even at 70 degrees outside, it still got that like cold little sublime mist in the air. So we getting about 75 degrees. That's probably about our average high.
Well, put it like this, summer's just about to begin anyway, so get prepared.
Well, I hope it's over with, man, because I live in these like townhouses, man, in my own little apartment with my mom's. And they like little condos, like, man. But there's people that live up in here, man, that is horrible. There's been a lot of violence. It's like living in the projects, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of violence been going on since the sun has been coming out. Every summer.
You
Because of the
noticed that,
drill.
right?
Huh?
Sun come out. That's when the violence come out.
Yeah, I mean, and then you
Get
got
active.
this drill music, that's adding fuel to the fire. Yeah, that drill music is definitely adding fuel to the fire. Yeah.
Shit, I don't even
Well,
listen to the radio stuff no more.
yeah, I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and check on out, man. My eyelids is like
Well,
like
take
five
take a
thousand
take a minute.
pounds.
Take a minute to close out, and then I'm gonna close out too, because it don't seem like not much. I didn't want to come on and
Well, we
close
we
out.
put in we when we put about a good hour, maybe hour and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah,
That's a pretty decent show. We don't need to be on there all night, man. Hey, make let the people know, man, that we can come back over here again, man. Maybe Sunday tomorrow or Monday or something. That
yeah,
way, we can make an announcement. For the people that's watching. They can come out, and then I could take the video and share it to other groups and stuff. So if whoever else get a chance to hear it, they'll be prepared for us to come on a certain day, a certain time. And one
yeah.
thing that'll get your channel to blow up, if you was to, I think that if you was to come on like 2 or 3 times a week at a specific time and day where people know to catch you, you know, I think that'll pick up the momentum eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
You know? But
Well,
that
like I
being
said,
that,
tonight was really just a anything goes open session. I haven't been on in a while. You haven't been on in a while. None of us have been on in a while. Just to I guess shake the dust and get these wrinkles out. It
yeah.
feels good.
But, but that being that, this is Yasha Ben Israel chilling over here, over here with my man Tim Learsey, DOA, dead on arrival. Glad to be in the house. Now I'm fixing to get out the house. And I'll see you guys, man, maybe in the next couple of days or so. When you say what, maybe tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, what?
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. And definitely, man, you can throw together a whole total new. You know how we always do. Come up with a new show series.
Yeah, I got some
To
old stuff, man. I can, some old videos and stuff that I could share of some of the lessons and stuff that I've been putting down lately.
me, I
The
like to
most,
deal with like a lot of the trending topic. Whatever. You know, Even though I keep saying it, a lot of those things that went through several times, and then as soon as we sit down, the newbies come up, bringing it all back out, and don't have no
yeah,
clue to what they talking about. But you know, it is what it is. It
Yeah.
is what it is. But I'm down
Yeah.
with, you know, we always
Yeah,
good
but
creative stuff.
that being that, man, we can set it up for tomorrow, man. And same time, same place, man. I'll see y'all over here.
All right.
Yeah, that being stated, I am going to bed. Layla told.
Hey, let's go.
That
I'm gonna say
means
the
that's
same.
Hebrew for good night.
Good night. I'm gonna
Yep.
say the same thing.
Huh?
I'm gonna say the same thing. Call it
Layla
Shabuti. Good
told.
night.
Layla told.
All right.
Like a girl named Layla. Layla told. All right, y'all. I'm out, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace out. Peace out, Brother Eric. Peace out, Brother Picard. Peace out, Brother PT, and anybody else. We are
All
out
right.
here.
What do you want? I'm gonna kill you, you bastard!
It's the chuck. All you see is crooks. Shout out to Havoc, good looking on the beat. Forever P. Street life was good. About to go in, son. Look, red bones and red bottoms. Like Red Bull, we gon' give them wings, we red dot 'em. Candy rappers, send 'em in, we red hot 'em. Headshot 'em, go against migraine, get head problems. Big dummy, garbage rappers, we red fox 'em. Shoot an actor in high depth and red box 'em. Tip the scales in my favor, stay in your top 10. If life's like a triple beam, I'm weighing my options. Y'all like why meth, you high meth. Keep a big popper, cause I ain't ready to die yet. I digress, or I'm just too intense to digest. Stretched in a Pyrex, compliments to my chef. Game ain't been the same since I left. Is they really crooks or just a pain in my neck? Wu-Tang, ain't no lanes in my set. Fresh pair of Nike Airs, I just do it for my check. I'll be the first to tell these rappers, get your bars up. Shout to P, you know it's havoc when we mob up. I tell that smut, date over, pull your drawers up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Throw your squad up. Cigar guts, all up in the club, putting squad up.
I swoop in, shooting like I'm paratrooping. We all in, we riding, we carpooling. My whole crew, we diving, we platooning. Salute me or shoot me, Huey P. Newton. Your buffoonery is quite amusing. This is not monkey business, stop cooning. It's a method to my madness, I know what I'm doing. There's a